Today we are talking about seed starting setup if you don't have a greenhouse and some ways that you can get ahead of the season without having to spend a fortune on starter plants. Do the new one, Lucy. Tell me what you're doing.
I'm making holes for the seeds. Some of my beans will work. Actually, these ones will make beans.
Good job.
Here, I'll be.
I love flowers. We're going to try and Lucy's going to do it.
Dwarf beans.
So over the winter months, I've been down here in the basement setting up a few bits of equipment that really don't cost a lot to get myself a little growing space for starting seeds so that I can get ahead of the season. And I just wanted to show you around some of the things that I've done. So one of the first things that I did was I set up a shelving unit. I got it all from Amazon, and I put in some LED grow lights. As you probably know, natural light bulbs that we have in the house don't give the right spectrum of light for plants to grow. So if you can get set up with some LED lights to give the plants the spectrum of light they need, then it's a good way to get a head start with growing inside. These particular lights are called Barina. I'll put the information in the description box below as a link. It came as a 6-pack. And they are pretty low on energy consumption. I haven't used them before, but the reasons that I bought them was because it was low on energy consumption, and they gave the right amount of LED light that I needed, and they've got a long-lasting bulb. The other thing that I bought was a timer. So the timer has settings where they all turn on and off by themselves once I've got the seeds planted. And something else that once we get this little growing space finished, there'll be some drywall behind this grow rack, and I'm going to line it with this reflective material to get as much bang for my buck as possible and try and reflect some of this light back onto the seeds. So something else that I bought from Amazon, and I love it because I'm a real planner and I like to know where things are and I like to be organized. So it's this little trolley. It's a shelf stack on wheels, and it comes with all these compartments. So I'm able to keep things like my twine in here. I've got some lids. I've got my plant labels and tins. I've got plant labels and pens down here. And then I've got my seeds as well. And actually, this was a really good tip. I keep my seeds in tin boxes, and the reason that I do that, these are seeds that I harvested from our garden from last year, is because I know that there has been 1 or 2 mice down here in the basement, and they love a good tasty treat. So when I actually plant the seeds, I will create some barriers just to shield them from losing seeds to mice. And while I'm not down here regularly, then I've stored the seeds in tins to protect them. So behind me here are actually my avocado plants that I started last spring, and they did a full season outside, and then I moved them indoors for the winter. So they have been doing quite well. They've been under this other grow light that I have here, which has got a slightly different spectrum to it, and I will also put the link for all of the equipment in the details box below. And what I wanted to show you on this table is that I have got a heat mat. I don't think that it's necessarily essential. However, with seeds that require a higher temperature for germination, like peppers, I think I used it on some of the tomatoes to get them going. I did find that it really helped speed up just the germination process. And then once the seeds were going, I transferred them off the mat and used the mat for something else. So it's not like I needed to invest in all these different heat mats. The other thing I will say is that our basement is connected to our central thermostat. So we run it at about 50 degrees at the moment, meaning that the ambient temperature is a lot warmer than outside. So having your room temperature at a good temperature for the seeds to start is important. Another thing that is good is if you can get a natural air circulation going. So if you have a ceiling fan or some other kind of fan that you can move the air around, then that was really good to create those conditions for the seeds too. So one of the things that I've done here is I set up some really basic tables. You can see I've got a shelf there that's sat up on breeze blocks, just to give myself a bit of space for potting, where it doesn't matter if soil gets on the work surface or on the floor. I have emptied a couple of, this is just clean store-bought potting mix to get my seeds started. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it in with some of this coconut coir. This is a growing medium that's often used with hydroponics. So there's no nutritional value to it. However, it provides a good grow medium in that you can give the roots a growing medium that they can establish a strong root base in. So that is why I'm going to mix it in with the soil. It's also my plan at the end of the season to store some of our harvest down here. So the root crops like potatoes and carrots and onions and things. So what I also bought was some harvesting crates, which are like the old sort of baking type crates for harvesting the produce out of the garden, but then also being able to store it down here. And I'll probably set it up once I don't need the grow space so much. I'll probably set up a different type of shelving system to give myself some space for actually storing our harvest. I've got some broccoli coming up. In fact, pretty much all the broccolis have sprouted. I've planted 2 different varieties. I have got the tall telephone beans coming up, peas. There's 4 of those are sprouting. And we have some first signs of the spring onions or bunching onions. They're also sprouting, so signs of early life. So thanks for watching, guys. If you're interested to know about any of the seed starting supplies that you've seen in this video, you can click the link in the description box below, which will take you through to our Amazon shop, and there we've listed all the products that we use. Next step is going to be building some raised beds to accommodate these little transplants when they're ready. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can find us again in the future. And until next time, happy homesteading.
From the valley to the border, from the river to the rolling hills, voices calling out from yesterday. And the old folks and the old ways and the laughing smile of a Geordie girl, she's the one who stole my heart.